Hey everyone, welcome. Great to have you with us. So we've got a really awesome panel of guests joining us today for this session. We're going to be talking about the sustainability of play to earn games, and generally we'll cover a lot of different topics about the massive growth and super exciting growth that's happening in the crypto gaming space. Um, Obviously in the last 1 year we've seen number of outstanding success stories with astronomic rise of games like Axie Infinity and a number of other more OG games also finding massive user growth over the last year. But I think even considering that growth, we're still at kind of the nascent early stages of crypto gaming and learning a lot about token economic models and game designs and a number of other interesting areas that are evolving rapidly. So we're gonna be picking the brains of our panel here around a number of those topics. To get things started, we'll go through a quick round of introductions. Would love to hear more about your backgrounds, how you got into the crypto gaming space, and of course, would love to learn more about your project. So, would love to start with you, Brendan.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll try and keep it short. I'm Brendan Wong, the CEO and founder of Avocado Guild. My background is in traditional retail, actually, and then I moved into like I used to sell ski holidays online. Okay, I've done all of the thing, and retail, ski holidays, and now I've moved into Web3. So I run Avocado Guild, and Avocado Guild is a gaming guild. The best way to understand it is we're quite similar to YGG. We are currently the largest gaming guild in the play to earn space. We have close to 11,000 scholars. Our main focus is scholarship scaling. We want to provide as many opportunities as we can to as many people as we can. We focus on educating our scholars and our community on crypto enabled play to earn technologies. And we aim to partner up with more blockchain games and help grow the ecosystem to encourage Web3 adoption. So that's our goals.
Awesome, great to have you with us. Definitely, I think the gaming guilds are becoming a super important part of the ecosystem. Definitely going to talk a lot more about that. Uh, Pramod, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Hey, Sammy. Thanks. Um, I'll try to keep it very short as well. I have a background in traditional gaming, and I'm a core team member of the Alien Worlds project. We are the largest blockchain game in terms of numbers of daily users and lifetime users as per the app radar. Alien Worlds is a gaming metaverse which comprises of utility-based NFTs, where users can use their NFTs to mine our in-game native currency called Trillium, which is a fungible token which lives on Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and Wax blockchain. Uh, the game also has 6 planets where our players can mine Trillium. Planets within alien worlds by themselves are DAO entities that compete with each other to create a stronger position in the metaverse by attracting stakers of Trillium. Our core team has a very solid background of DAOs. Our past experiences have been in building and running DAOs. So we are very excited to see how NFTs and DAOs can come together to the medium of gaming.
That's really awesome. Johnny, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Yeah, so it's me, Johnny. I'm from Sweden Arena. So right now I was a CMO, and my background was back then, 2008. I worked for the Google reseller, based in Jakarta, and also short time Philippines, and back to Malaysia. So 2015, I moved to Facebook as one of the, third Vietnamese team based there back on 2015, and recently joining Career Chain and moving to blockchain 2 years ago. Why we found a Waffen team? So Waffen team is the Vietnamese studio game, and we have been developing games for the past 7 years. with like a lot of global titles on the traditional type. And when we two found each other, so we decided to move on, and that's why Theater Arena idea is coming up with the core concept of the free to earn. So we're one of the first one that implement mobile plus free to earn, and recently is getting a lot of success and support from the user. So far we get more than 19 million user from globally within
Boom.
yeah
Yeah.
Wow.
19 million in 2 months, yeah, in around 2 months time.
Kaboom
And
town.
hopefully more and more can come and join and play all together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Thetan Arena growth since the launch just recent, I think 2 months ago, has been spectacular.
Yeah.
We'll
Mm.
definitely dive into a lot more around that as well. Rich, how's it going, buddy? Great to have you.
It's going great. And by the way, like Vietnam, like just nailing it when it comes to Web3 and blockchain games, right? I mean, like Axie Infinity and Thetan Arena, and like even more. So yeah, great to be part of this. Just loving Web3 is my act three. As I've told people, I've been through, Web one. That's how I got to know Yat, the founder of Animoca, and Web two. And I spent 24 years in China as an entrepreneur, investor, and advisor. And I joined Animoca as an advisor early last year when things really started to just blow up in the whole Web3 space, and it's been absolutely intoxicating and amazing. And Animoca is, I'm an entrepreneur in residence focusing on play to earn. I love the play to earn space. I started one of the first mobile gaming companies in China back in 2000, a company called MIG, doing SMS games, and then WAP and Brew and Java. So I've been in the gaming industry off and on for the last couple of decades, but I've never been so excited about what's happening now. And Animoca is an investor and operator in the Web3 space. And our fearless leader Yatsio, it's really really worth taking a look at some of his videos and watching some of his mind blowing thoughts on where the future of Web3 is going. And we really want to support the ecosystem. We're investors in Alien Worlds, proud investors also in Avocado Guild, proud investors in Thetan Arena, and we have a fund with you guys over at Binance. $200 million fund that we recently started. So we just love to be in the game.
That's really awesome. A question for you, Rich, since given your background and experience, we talk about, like, obviously there's crazy growth happening in the crypto gaming space right now. Why is that? Like, what's really driving that? Like, what do game developers see as the big advantages and opportunities? What's captivating the imagination of the users? I think it's not only about the earn part. Like, the earn part is also definitely a awesome fundamental part there as well. Something that hasn't really been enabled before. But what is it? What else is there?
I think the earn part is certainly a big part of it, but there are other factors as well too. And I think when you create a game now, instead of thinking how do we make money in this game, how does somebody like Supercell make all this cash, and then Tencent buys a majority stake, and then that money gets to go on their books, and then they're listed in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, and that funnels up to their shareholders, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Now you ask, how does the community make money? How we all gonna make it, right? How is everybody gonna benefit from this game? And as it should be. I mean, I'm gonna channel Yat, which is, we're all kind of living in bondage, like in the Matrix, right? We don't even know it, and we need to be red pilled to be able to understand that we're under the house of Zuckerberg and lords of Google and and Steam and Animoca. I mean, I'm sorry, not Animoca, Activision Blizzard. All these gigantic players, and Yat's sort of like Morpheus trying to red pill people and set them free, right? And people really respond to that. I think there's a little bit of pushback you see with Ubisoft, and anytime there's something new and people don't fully understand it, and you kind of shake up the status quo. But fundamentally, it's power to the people.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I think that like disintermediation of the economic models, like where is that value being extracted, and the gatekeepers in the Web 2 world, changing those like hierarchies and like those power structures and giving, like you said, more power to the people, like changing, having the first time like opportunities to develop these
Hmm.
new economic models and scale them is super interesting. Brendan, keen to hear your thoughts on the same topic. Like, where are we going with this? Like, what's the direction?
Uh, look, I'm gonna say something that will sound familiar perhaps to Rich because I've heard Yat say this a couple of times. In regards to the technology, why does it all work now as opposed to say 3 years, 5 years, or for Yat 10, 15 years ago? Earning is very important. I mean, that's what drives a lot of our scholars, obviously. But earning is what puts them through the door. But it's the community that kind of keeps them there. Having that
Hmm.
said, if you can't earn, you can't put food on the table. Like it's unsustainable. I think right now what we have is key timing. We have technology adoption. We have technology introduction, Web3, crypto. Right now, like it's just everything is just kind of aligning, right things at the right place at the right time, and you can see that the iron's hot. Do you want to beat that iron and shape the future of play to earn or shape the future of Web3? Play to earn is just in my mind like a early medium, almost like a portal. If you look at what's behind me, a portal for adoption of actual Web3 technology. All our scholars who are earning and building communities around all these new play to earn games, um, in my mind, they're the first generation users of this
Mhm.
technology, and I've aligned this thought with them as well, and I've explained it all to them. You're not just playing a game, earning a bit of money. You guys are literally learning this technology before anyone else when you look at the size of the mass market. If you look at a lot of games pitching or even guilds pitching, we always address the size of the market being 120, 140, 200 billion by next year. But realistically, play to earn games, we haven't even scratched the surface of that. You haven't seen any major corporations really enter this space at a significant speed or volume, and you haven't really seen traditional users enter the space. Like 1-2 million is amazing. That's huge. Like props, Johnny. Like I play your game almost every night with my scholars because we're
Thank
trying to
you.
figure out how we're going to enter your game and be a part of your ecosystem
Hmm.
and the
Mm.
ecosystem of blockchains as a whole. But when you look at games like I don't know, League of Legends, Call of Duty. Like it's crazy the amount of users that they have. Imagine if we could funnel those users across to blockchain games. And in my mind, there's no real reason. Like the biggest issue with moving users across is the friction required to enter Web3. So that's something we're trying to. I think everyone's trying to overcome.
Yeah, that's some super interesting points there. I think like definitely, even though a lot of the games today, like Beats Arena and others are achieving very significant user growth, we're still at the quite early stages. I think a lot of games like Titan are gonna bring a lot of new users into crypto, that's for sure. But the friction points are
Mm.
still there. The friction points are still high. Like I'll call it the kind of like the grandmother problem. With all due respect to my grandmother, like she can use Facebook to message me quite easily, but can she really download like a browser extension wallet and
Mm.
like custody her keys and make sure that her seed phrase is secured well from the point of genesis? Like I'm not so sure that's really possible. Like I think there we're going to need a lot more tools that provide users that want it the web 2 experience, log in with your favorite social media platform or whatever else, and email or password or whatever that's going to be. I think that's definitely a key challenge, that there's a lot of great engineering teams developing solutions to address these areas, and no doubt that we'll overcome over time. I think another interesting area is around the token economic models themselves, and how do those really scale. So we've seen a couple of good examples here. I think the really well known or the most publicized one is kind of around Axie, and I think the economics around it also have been like captivating for a lot of people. But interesting, and there's been on the other side of that as well some stories that haven't turned out really well. So it's kind of still a process of discovery, I think, in terms of how do you really develop these token economic models for play to earn games, especially when there's large user growth and different types of market conditions. So Johnny, would love to hear from you, like how did your team really approach that challenge? Like what were the kind of challenges that you were looking to solve, and how is it going currently?
Yeah, sure. So I think agree with Brandy. So we in a very early stage of Web3, and we see a lot of kind of like barrier of entry from, especially from the normal user and then crypto. So that's why when we come up, together with Wolfman, inside our team, we are debating a lot of models, but then right now we are picking, I think so far, that's also mega outstanding, which is mobile plus free to earn. So I mean, free to earn mean everyone can join, and the first entry is actually we distribute through the App Store and the Google Play, so everyone can actually really easy to approach to the apps, download the app and play and enjoy the game first before they want to download the extension and do all the crypto stuff. So that give them like a feeling of the games, and if they really love that trial, then they tap into the crypto side. So second, I think what one of the barrier that we see a lot is actually the stable of the network. I mean the blockchain network. Because right now, um, I think we we also try to make the game more stable and easy to access to everyone from all over the world. But then I think the blockchain network is actually in also very early stage where I mean mobile is like continuously when you press and shooting and stuff. It needs real time transaction, and we do need a lighter version of a blockchain network that can have like our mobile games can perform really well in the very near futures. Um, I think the third barrier should be the trust of people and also the trust from the government side, because so far though that we are actually based in Vietnam, but then because of a lot of the kind of like policy issues. So we cannot really put the server in some country, including Vietnam. So we have a huge wave of China, Hong Kong people coming recently, and they spend a lot. But then we really cannot put a physical server to support those users there. Or like Russia is another example. So if we can have more support from the policy side, that should be perfect. Yeah. For I think the economics, that one is the hardest question that you asked me, and I think everyone is trying to find a way to actually make it correctly. So we are also studying a lot from our investor and also our advisor, and we keep evolving and listen to our community. So far, I think data will tell. So right now we have 1 million daily active user, and 25% of them are actually paying, which is they buying NFT and investing in our heroes. And the non NFT, which means the free user, is 70%, 75%. So I think that is quite healthy at the moment. But then for the long run, with our treasury size after a month is 80 million. That 80 million US dollar is the the revenue that we put back in the treasury, and it's keep growing. But then I think to make more stable and long term economics, we need more revenue stream. So next quarter we open up like actually this quarter we open up kind of like guild manager to onboarding more guild to come and support us. And also tournament is coming, and we are open kind of like a streaming network for the streamer to join, and more users for TSC, where user can actually earn that, and not just buy heroes, but then can use to donate to the streamer that they like, or they can do like betting in the tournament for the team that they really like. Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome. Like fascinating insights here. Um,
Yeah.
Pramod would have a similar question for you. Interested to hear some insights around the design discussions and process, and how did you guys come up with the token economics, and what were the key considerations when developing Alien Worlds?
Right. Uh, I feel like for most projects within this space, having a sustainable economy is going to be very challenging. And play to earn mechanics within a game can be sustainable if the game itself continues to innovate, and diversify what it has to offer. Like with many games and activities, enthusiasm of the players can slow down for a while if there aren't any new development and new features that are getting added to the game. So, by striving to present new ways of integrating new play to earn mechanics into the game, when then those mechanics can continue to reward players and are also enjoyed by the players. So, in that way, we have created our mid to long term goals, which are designed to extend the longevity of Alien Worlds and to onboard more users. They consist of integration of non-blockchain games via modding communities and servers. We have a fighting game which is in the pipeline, and
Mm.
on-chain quests and more. Uh, as a team, we are really committed towards expanding Alien World's metaverse as other projects and gaming communities and use cases get discovered and we get incentivized to onboard those use cases.
That's really interesting. Um, Maybe we'll switch gears and talk a little bit about gaming guilds. As, gaming guilds have also emerged as a really interesting and important infrastructure today, really, for the continued growth of play to earn games and kind of those different aspects around sustainability of the economies. Interested to hear from you, Brendan. What really brought your attention to is it Axie, and what are the kind of trends that we can expect to see happening within gaming guilds besides just like renting NFTs? Like, is membership going to become more competitive? What are other things that we could expect to see happening there?
Um, look, as everyone's aware, I'm sure you guys know there's plenty of gaming guilds in the market these days, and they've raised significant amounts of money. Spaces, there's a lot, but one thing they're still short of is kind of like players. What I can share is like my own vision of a gaming guild, which is what Avocado is trying to build. Um, we like what we want to do is quite simple. We want to be able to provide opportunities for our scholars to earn in these play to earn games. So Web3, decentralization, blockchain, there's an element of token ownership, and you can yield that. So we want to make that possible, but in a sustainable way. I understand that sustainability hasn't fully been solved yet, but everyone's working hard at it. We're still very, very early to this. But what else is really a gaming guild? It's really a huge community of people that have come together to build on top of blockchain, right? So a lot of the people in gaming guilds, they don't really understand what this technology is. Some of them are gamers, some of them are just normal people, some of them are like family and friends of gamers that have decided to come into this space because of the opportunities that are here. Um, we see ourselves as a shelter, almost as a vehicle. We want to help educate them. We want to hold their hands and help them navigate the whole crypto space. I'm not saying that I'm going to train the next generation of DeFi degens. Okay, I'm just saying that like we're really just trying to train them about, as you mentioned prior, with Facebook, with Google, everything's synced up. You just press connect with one button and you're synced up. But in crypto, it's not like that. In crypto, when you have your wallet key, something as simple as don't take a screenshot of that. You'd be surprised how many people don't understand this. Write that
Mm.
down, keep it somewhere safe. Decentralization is giving ownership back to you, but people are so accustomed to having someone else solve every single problem that they have. They don't understand this. So what we try to do is we teach them about decentralization. We teach them that what we're offering is not money. We're not offering money. We're not offering THC. We're not offering SLP. We're offering you an opportunity to learn. We're offering you an opportunity to have ownership of a token that has an ability to be off ramped. And we're also going to try and teach you how to preserve that ownership, look after yourself in this space where you're responsible for everything. And if you don't understand, as a guild, we'll guide and help you. And at the same time, we don't want to just help you. We don't want to give you all the money. It's not about that. We want to do what it takes to scale. And I mean, I can go and build a platform. There are already companies out there building like scholarship lending platforms. Thetan Arena is building their own NFT lending platform. It makes sense. The NFTs are no longer JPEGs. These things have value. They're asset. What is an asset? It's like a car. When you don't drive it, you can lend it to someone. So that's an asset, right? So these texts is already being developed. I think the issue right now is not so much as developing these texts first, but really maximizing on capturing the community, educating the community, and getting ready to scale and onboard as many users as we can. Like as a guild, Avocado, we have 11,000 scholars. I'm looking to increase this number significantly in 2022. And as this happens, these are not robots; they're real life people. You have to hold their hand, you have to provide them with support, and at the same time, then you build out the infrastructure that makes their life a little bit easier. So I mean, obviously guilds have turned into a bit of a VC as well. Like we invest in games, but with us, we don't just invest as in providing funds. Like, Animoca does that great. Like heaps of other VCs are in the space, funding new games. What we want to provide is actually the users to help some of them test their games. My expertise in 7 months or so in the industry, like really, I deal with 20 games every week. I look at my scholars and I know the problems they encounter, and I really want to try and solve these issues. I have my ideas when it comes to sustainability of GameFi. I believe that GameFi requires massive community. Game ecosystems need to be looked after, blockchain adoption, and user acquisition. The issue right now is just not enough players. Once you have more players, I think a lot of these issues can get solved. So yeah, I mean, I can go on about that for like hours, but that's my thought of a gaming guild. Is we're here to basically build up the ecosystem of blockchain games, and in turn, everyone will do well.
That's really cool. I think like that should be one of the main ways to look at um, success for gaming guilds is new player acquisition and net new players into crypto, really, because that's one of the key. I think the key opportunities from crypto gaming is unlike any other domain within crypto. If we think about, and we talk about this a lot, is a pathway to 1 billion users. And what does that really look like? It's going to require development on a number of areas at the infrastructure side, on the application side, and there's going to be like adjacent domains like DeFi, for example, that will be foundational building blocks. But if you think about from a domain perspective, where could that large user growth come from? Is it going to be DeFi, tens of millions users, potentially hundreds of million users, maybe a billion? I'm not so sure. But gaming, I think, has a very clear path to easily hundreds of millions and then eventually 1 billion of users coming into crypto. So, on that perspective, I think definitely gaming guilds have a critical role to play in terms of at least now when we're still have various issues around UX and several friction points does require a bit of hand holding for some types of users to be able to come into crypto and get them started. I think that's a really key metric to be looking at. Rich, really interested to hear your perspectives around that as well. I know Animoca has a very rich background around supporting user growth, including in the gaming guild space.
Certainly, yeah. And I mean, that's, personally for me to be able to do well while doing good, meaning I believe that there is going to be this seismic societal shift in the next 10, 15 years, accelerated by COVID, which is AI and automation are going to gut hundreds of millions of jobs. And what's going to replace that? I never had a good answer until last year. And it's going to be all the work that, my fellow panelists do, is basically employing people around the world to manage digital assets in an exciting way that can supplement and even completely replace their income. So I mean that's a mission and a vision that I can really, really get behind. And I became a pandemic refugee with my family here in Bali, Indonesia, during Chinese New Year. I've been here 2 years now. It's my anniversary. And I have a guild here, right? Just because a small one, you have a choice. You can make sourdough bread, learn how to play the ukulele, or start a gaming guild during COVID. And I chose to do a gaming guild, but just so I could understand what's going on. And people can make as much money as they would changing motorcycle tires as they can playing, just Axie, right? And in the future, there's going to be players that will have multiple screens and multiple roles, managing land, managing other people, playing multiple games. And it's going to enrich and enable, if you think that in the developing world somebody can support 5 to 8 people depending on what country they're in, like if you get 150 million people doing play to earn, then you got a billion people on the planet that are living better lives. I mean, it's really a really big deal. And then you also see here, like I'm based in Bali, of course. I'm American, a white dude, but I spent 24 years in China. Like Web3 is happening in Asia, and then that's distributing itself around the world to all these developing developing markets, and it's super super exciting. And I've heard Gabby from YGG talk about guilds as kind of like the onboarding mechanism for the metaverse, because everybody's really excited about decentralization and Web3, and that's great, but there has to be some sort of you know way, if you're replacing all of these centralized platforms, centralized platforms have a role in terms of discovery and onboarding, and I think guilds are going to be a gigantic part of that.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I like that the way you phrase that as like the onboarding mechanism for the metaverse. Because
Well, I was we've been channeling Yat. Now I'm channeling Gabby.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah, that's really cool. So one of the other topics I've heard people talking about is this kind of like balance between when people talk about like play to earn. Some people have this like misconception that it's like not that much fun, or maybe there are certain games in which the game elements are not as much fun, especially when you have lots and lots of people playing. And I don't know, like I was wondering to hear more about it. Like, is there a balance? Can it be just play to earn and fun at the same time, or is it some part of
But
it is
I want to let somebody else answer this, but I want to jump in. Someone's like, "Is Axie as fun as League of Legends?" I don't know. It depends. But the question is Axie as fun as changing motorcycle tires? Yeah, it's way more fun than driving. This guy that I work with, 75 minutes, rain, sun, go to the place, change motorcycle tires, noisy streets, right? Has to eat, food that he brought with him, and then go all the way back in the dark and terrible weather. Or he just stays at home and he plays Axie, and he can, play with the kids and, eat at home, take a nap, whatever, right? It's like that is not even, like that's the question, right? And like in the future, these games will become so much more fun. Like I think that's the main question to ask. So anyway, I'll stop there.
I want to add. Sorry, I want to add. So let's use Axie for example, right? You've only got X amount of energy. Takes 2-3 hours to play Axie. Everyone in my guild knows it's something that you kind of play supplementary. When the market's doing well, of course you can make a lot of money, much more than changing tires. But look, I don't know how to change my tire. I still need someone to change my tire, man. Like in the end of the day, like I see play to earn as like a growing, like a new market. Yeah, I don't think it's like really, some markets, some other industries will be affected, but I see it going hand in hand. It's kind of like just because we have mobile phones doesn't mean I don't go see my friends. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I see technology as an enabler similar to that, and yeah, I just wanted to say that.
awesome, awesome. We'd
Right.
love to hear from. Maybe we'll start with Promote and then come to Johnny on this topic.
Yeah, well, firstly, I hope everyone watching already knows that the idea behind having gaming assets on blockchain is the abilities to secure the asset digitally so that players can actually own their in-game items. Uh, and for the first time on blockchain, you can really own what you have inside the game. And on top of that, it is also interoperable with other projects and other games. So blockchain actually brings in those two offerings to the traditional games. When people can own things in games, it makes up for an actual economy, and when you have a game driven by an actual economy, that can bring in some financial benefits for the players, as their assets that are in game can easily be converted into another currencies of value. So that way you can buy assets in game and earn the in-game currency while experiencing the gameplay, which helps in creating a two-way stream, contrary to traditional games where you would spend money and time to experience the gameplay.
It's very interesting points here. Johnny, would love to hear from you on this topic. Like, how is the balance between play to earn, the fun element, and the grind element? Like, is there a balance? Does there need to be a balance? Would love to hear from you on that.
Yeah, sure. So I think I I love a quote from one of my friends playing Titan Arena is that the most balancing things is the thing that not imbalance, which meant that I think in nature happen the same. Not everything can be balanced, but if you invest more time, if you invest resource in anything, you can be expert on that one. So I think it happened the same to any user on web 3.0 and also on blockchain, and also blockchain game. So I think back to the basic. We want everyone to have fun. So I think that's the key elements that would have to actually balance all of the orders. And second is we try to build and empower the one that can invest in the content from the very early stage, and then try to balance that with the new user coming in through our streamer and community events. So continuously doing that and balance, we actually found out that um, a lot of our time is actually putting in try to balance the game. But I think one of the things that we learned is the user actually want to pay and spend with the game or with the projects that actually produce enough content for the game, and make them to play fun, and also at the same time can earn enough. So I think right now our team is really focused on the products. That's why you can see a huge of the user growth. And right now the balancing, we leave that in the good hands of our guild partner, that they try to actually have coaching and onboarding new user also for us, and also for the streamer that they work with us from the very beginning. Now they're starting to have their guild also, so we give a lot of support from them. And we try to give the kind of like balance things to our partner, where our team is right now is really focused on how to make the game more fun, how to add more features, and how to bring in more revenue stream from the real world. Like right now, we partner with Logitech in Vietnam to roll out theater merchandising, where everyone firstly can do like kind of like a lucky draw things, and they can earn a real headset. And we see a huge success in here. So right now we are talking to more brands and onboarding them to our games, and more and more a brand will come and more revenue stream in. Our treasury will be bigger, and I think that one everyone happy, and that's going to be sustainable. So that is my answers.
Awesome, awesome. I think
Yeah.
one last topic to cover before we start wrapping things up is interested to hear your guys' perspectives on the convergence between the traditional game developers and Web3 and crypto games. Do they have to come? Are they coming today? For the guys that don't develop crypto games, are they gonna have to start changing the game economic models and their business models? Is that gonna be impacted? Um, Rich, maybe we'll start with you to get your insights on that.
You know, we all, would hope that, like, Alexis Ohanian, he's a big founder of Reddit. He's a big investor on the Web3 space. And his prediction is that 90% of all games within 5 years will have a really strong, uh, they'll be on chain. And, once people actually get a taste of ownership, then it's really difficult to go back. And I think right now there's some pushback and some resistance from the player community, in among some communities. I think that typically in a new market, there are some incumbents that are able to adapt well, and make the change. And there's a lot of new players that are very focused on the new sector and can really grow it out. And I think for something like this, I really believe you have to be all in. You have to fully believe in the whole vision of what on-chain games can be. And I think to fully embrace it, and to really um, try to build out the ecosystem. I think that's our strategy. We know that we can't own it. We can't be you know uh, just a dominant player in just one game and be a really big player in the gaming space. We have to be a good member of the ecosystem and help to grow it all out. And I think you know naturally we're going to be moving towards that. I think it just kind of makes logical sense, and that's why I'm all in personally.
Yeah, awesome.
Mm.
Brendan, would love to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think we're also on Web3 or nothing? Like, what kind of time frame do you think that's going to happen? If you think that's going to happen at all?
Um, First of all, I think Web3, one thing people kind of just back to the last question a little bit. Um, it's very community driven. You know, it was like it's not so much as just playing a game to earn money. That's important, but in the end of the day,
Sure.
like my guys, they play for 2-3 hours, but they hang in the Discord for like 5-6 hours. Back when I used to play World of Warcraft, like going on World of Warcraft was kind of like an excuse. I was really looking for my friends to say hello to. So I think community is a massive driver. And in future play to earn games, we're going to look at what we see in traditional games, content creation, community driven content. Like that's going to be massive. And that's really what's going to get majority of people involved and really thinking, oh shit, this is crazy. Okay, now back to your question. Is crypto is what's going to happen between play to earn games and traditional games? I think the question is, do you believe? Does anyone here today believe, even in the audience,
Mhm.
is crypto going away? That's the question. Okay. If we don't believe that crypto is going away and it's not going to die, then it doesn't necessarily mean that it's mass adoption, but it's going to hang around. And naturally, let's look at this as a real world example. We got electric cars nowadays, very efficient. Okay, they don't consume petrol. They're slowly kind of climbing in the market, but a petrol car is totally gone. There will always be people that find a certain attraction to petrol cars. It's a different type of technology. It's got its own charm. So maybe my idea of the future is they're both going to go hand in hand, but it's likely that you're going to see a mass adoption of blockchain-based games. The reason is quite simple. There's money to be made in the space. Technology is still very, very early in my mind, which means there's plenty of room for adoption. I think some of the issues that people would have to deal with is like crypto, huge barrier to entry. That's not just for normal people, but that's also for regulations and governments and things like that. But I think these are problems that, as always, eventually get resolved. So I'm very
Mm.
bullish on all of this.
Definitely agree with you. Agree with all of the points you're making here. So we're just coming up to the end of the time. So maybe we'll just go around quick. Will be great to hear from you guys. Um, any kind of major updates the community and listeners can look forward to. What's on the roadmap? What's the great things coming in 2022, and also where the listeners and community can go to get the latest updates, whether it's Twitter, Discord, wherever. Maybe we'll start with Pramod.
Right. Thanks, Sammy. For Alien Worlds, we have our roadmap divided in near to midterm, and long-term goals. So we recently launched our revamped user interface. We, like I mentioned earlier, we are also working on integration with non-blockchain games via modding community. There's a fighting game which is in pipeline, and we also have a land component within Alien Worlds, and we are expecting to be launching further features and a new land roadmap very soon. And we also have a DAO aspect within the game. this is also currently in the pipeline and is being worked on priority, where the six planets within the alien world metaverse where will be individual DAO entities, where Trillium holders will be able to select their representatives, their custodians, and then these custodians would act on behalf of the members to run the planet DAO entities. So we have all of that in pipeline. And for any updates, you could join our Discord and our Telegram. You will find the links to our Discord and Telegram and other social media platforms on our website, which is alienworlds.io. And we also very periodically post YouTube videos. You can easily find us on YouTube if you just search for Alien Worlds.
Awesome, awesome, super exciting pipeline. Looking forward to seeing all these great developments happening in with Alien Worlds in the coming weeks and months. Um, Brendan, how about you? What's coming in Avocado Guild? What can we look forward to?
Hmm. I'm planning a lot of stuff. I don't want to reveal too much, and at the same time, don't want to make promises I can't keep. We
You gotta
recently
give us something
tokenized.
though.
We recently tokenized, and we become Avocado DAO. We want to be for the community. I'm trying my best to work on like unique staking features that will come in future. I know everyone's always asking me about stuff like this, but I think guilds will be like it's so new. You know what I mean? I don't want to release something that doesn't make sense. Okay, like sometimes in crypto that kind of happens. I'm just trying to work my way around like really releasing something that's sustainable. Because if it's sustainable, the real life people that represent my scholars, they can be looked after, and the guild can go on and really build something great. So, but as with all things, it takes time. I know there are some games that take 3 4 months and they're blasted out, but for us, we're just trying to navigate the space a little bit more carefully. Um, but whatever I do, in the end of the day, we're trying to build that value for the ecosystem, and we're trying to make sure that our communities and scholars are looked after. So yeah, I know that doesn't say too much, but we're working on it. We're working on it. We're trying to bring more value to the space as a whole.
Awesome, awesome. So we gotta just stay tuned. Then we know there's lots of amazing things coming out of to look forward to from Avocado Guild coming
Thanks,
super
Sammy.
soon. Thanks a lot. Rich, over to you.
Yeah, so last year I think we did 120 deals, either investments or full acquisitions. Everybody's face on here we did some sort of a deal with. We love supporting the ecosystem, but internally fully owned subsidiaries, we have Sandbox, some really fun exciting stuff coming out of there. Rev Tower, also Phantom Galaxies. We bought studio called Blowfish Studios. Phantom Galaxy is going to be launching. I'm really excited about that. um, we're also going to be launching an accelerator for guilds. I mean, there's a lot of big players like Avocado and YGG and Merit Circle, but there's a lot of micro guilds that probably have nine to 12 scholars. But there are some right in the middle there, and we want to help grow the entire ecosystem. So we have a partner called Brink BRINC.io, and you can see an announcement coming up. It's a little bit of a early preview. I'm going to be running that accelerator for the guild. So if you're sort of in that sweet spot, take a look within this month. And I'm also going to start a Play to Earn podcast. I want to have every one of you individually on it, talking about the business and the philosophy and the macro and micro of Play to Earn. And I'm just really excited about that.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot. We're also launched recently the joint investment program between the BSC fund and Animoca brand. So we'll expect to see a
Indeed.
lot of great news coming out of that as well.
Mm.
Johnny, last but definitely not least, would love to hear more about Theta. And I've been playing a lot recently. Love the game a lot. Looking forward to what your team's going to be shipping in the coming weeks and months. What can we look forward to?
Oh, sure. So I think as I also been sharing, so Q1 we are building more system to support the guild, named the guild managers. So rolling out hopefully in the in this quarter, and we also this quarter we're rolling out more use case for our TSC, which is cosmetic system, And for the game content, we are rolling out the battle royale mode, which a lot of people are actually waiting. So like right now in Q1, 42 player can play at the same time, and having even more fun for the gameplay. So Q2 we are rolling out another usage for autistic, which is pet system, and also for the guild quest that right now that the guild can having their all leaderboard, and then their own quest. Q3 is more co-op mode for the game is coming, and we are opening up the guild worlds. So when the guild member getting bigger and bigger, so they not just need kind of like mini local tournament, but also between them they need kind of like guild worlds and tournaments. So we are also opening that on this Q3, and also the streaming system. So because we receive a lot of requests from the streamer that they want not just streaming on YouTube, streaming on Twitch, but also streaming on our own platform. So that also opened up another use case for the TSC. Q4 is a big tournament is coming, and also donation for the streaming. I think that's one of the key things milestone. And along the roadmap, we are opening up more partnership with like brands and those that would love to explore, and advertise to the user. So that's going to be on the pipeline. But the goal is to bring more and more use case for the TSC, and generate more revenue stream for our user that who actually is stacking right now and enjoying the share from our treasury. Yeah, so that's basically the plan for this year.
Awesome, super awesome. Looking forward to Battle Royale. Definitely can't wait to try that out.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys. Thanks a lot for joining. Really appreciate you all coming on, sharing fascinating insights, joining us on your weekend as well. Much appreciated. Thanks again. Thanks for all the listeners for jumping on as well. Thanks, everyone.
Real
Well done,
pleasure. Thanks,
Sammy.
guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Sammy.
Thanks,
thank you
guys.
guys. Thanks,
Thanks,
Bye.
Sammy.
guys.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye, have a good day.